prolific.
AI voiceover I've heard, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Let's get into Fusion and start making some graphics. To bring this shot into Fusion, all I have to do is be over it here in the timeline, and I'm not in Fusion. Oh, baby. And if I want to match this up to the voiceover, I can go up to my keyframes panel and open that up. And here, if I select our media in and roll this down, we have our audio, and this is from the timeline. And we play this back.
Coffee isn't your thing. Thanks for watching.
There we go. And now we have that audio coming in here. And so now we can easily kind of time things to this audio. So we can build this directly on the background here, but I think what I'm going to do is just go over to the edit page. This is 21 seconds long. So let's make sure we make a composition that's like 21 seconds long. I'll double click that. And let's connect a background to our media out. And here we have our footage. Now, because this isn't on the timeline, we won't have the audio here, but we can kind of move this around and adjust it on the edit page, which is slightly easier anyway. So let's just kind of make this as a separate thing. I'm going to go up to my workspace and uncheck show page navigation just so we have a little bit of room. And let's give ourselves just a blank background of some kind. We'll just do kind of like a blue, just so we have something to work on. Okay. And I'm also going to turn off our color management here. So I'm going to turn off that LUT. We want to make sure our colors look how we are actually making them, and we don't have to match them, and we're not doing VFX. So we can just kind of build in non-color managed mode. So we're going to show a graphic of a coffee cup, and we're going to have that kind of sitting on the screen, and then it's going to fill up with coffee and then a little bit more cream. And so the first thing we need to do is draw a coffee cup. Now we could bring in a graphic. We could do that a bunch of different ways, but I want to show you how to draw basically anything with the shape system inside of Fusion. This is Fusion's way to natively draw vector art.
Now's the time to upgrade to the new Dell AI PC. It's optimized for AI workloads.
And it's modular. It uses all of the nodes and everything. And the way that you do this, it's a little bit of a different mindset, but it's really cool. And we'll kind of see why as we go here. So I'll start by hitting Shift Spacebar. And if you type shape, S-H-A-P-E, here, that'll bring up all of the shape tools, and there are quite a few. And we're going to be using a couple of them today, but we're going to start with our S rectangle. So we can either find S rectangle here, or we can search for it. And I'll hit add. And what this will do is this will make a white square, basically, and we can resize it or anything, just like you would kind of with a mask. But this is actually a vector shape that's being drawn. So we're not masking a background or anything. It's actually drawing a shape. But of course, in our media out, we don't see anything because we haven't connected it. Now, the first thing you'll probably notice if you're new to shapes is if you take a S rectangle and you connect it to a background like this, it doesn't work. You can't merge it over things. If you have a merge, you try and connect it to anything and it doesn't work. So what the heck? How are we supposed to do this? What are we supposed to do? Well, the shape system is a way to draw vector shapes. And a vector, unlike a bitmap image, is not made of pixels. It's like math. So you can kind of think of it as like drawing, just like you would draw something in 3D, like a cube. It's kind of just numbers and data, and it tells the program how to draw something if it were to do so. We do see a preview of this confusingly, but we're not actually creating an image with it. In fact, if you look up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see there's no resolution here because this hasn't been rasterized. That means it hasn't been converted into pixels yet. And because it's not pixels, we can't actually put it over any kind of 2D image because it doesn't really make sense to do that. It's like putting an idea over something. It's just in pretend land. It's magic world. And so we need to convert this from pretend magic world into an image. And we do that with a node called sRender. Okay. sRender just has one job. All it does is take exactly what we're making in shapes, but it makes an image out of it. Okay. So here, this actually has a resolution 3840 by 1600, which is our project resolution. Now I can take the output of this render and I can put this over my merge like this and it connects. Oh, baby. So media out. Now we have a white. White square.
It's a C prolific.
Over a blue background. Yay, we did it! Also, this is turned on my LUT very annoyingly. So I'm going to turn it back off. Okay, so now we have our square and we're rendering it. I'm going to take the render, put it down here, and the rectangle like this. By the way, if your nodes don't kind of snap like this, right-click and go up to Arrange Tools and make sure that your little pop-out thing here looks like mine. To Grid is not checked, To Connected is checked, and Auto Arrange is not checked. That's the way that I like to do it because things are less annoying that way. And they can kind of snap to each other, but you don't have to snap them to a grid, okay? Very nice. So now we've drawn a white square. And let's take this white square, and we don't want our cup to be sharp. We want the corners to be rounded. Luckily for us, this S rectangle has a little property called corner radius. And look what happens when I push up corner radius. It kind of makes those round like that. So that's really neat. So let's kind of round that out to something tasteful. I don't know, something like that. And this is going to be the main part of our mug, where it's kind of rounded at the bottom and the top. And we can keep this kind of square. We can adjust it, kind of whatever you want to do. You know, if you want to make it a little bit taller, I think maybe we'll make this just a little bit taller than it is wide. Something like that. That looks good. So this is just the main kind of cup structure. Now let's make a handle. We could do that a ton of different ways, but probably the easiest way is just to make another S rectangle. In fact, I'll just Control C, double click off and hit Control V. And let's start to rename these here. We'll just call this handle, shape. This one will be called cup, shape. I'm just hitting F2 to rename these. And for this handle shape, let's take the same thing, but instead we're going to uncheck solid and push up the border width. So now we have this stroke around it. And we can also grab the corner and make this a little bit smaller. But now to actually see this shape and the cup shape, these are like in different worlds. So we need to combine them. And with shapes, how you combine shapes is a lot like how you combine other images. You use a special merge node called S-merge. So it merges shapes together. So this actually works how you think it would. You take the output of a shape, drop it on top of the output of another shape, and we get an S-merge, or smurge as I call it. Using this smurge, it'll put these shapes together. And if I grab handle shape and move it over to the right, look at that. We're making a cup. We're doing it. So we have.
It's a C prolific. It's a C prolific.
have that going on. We have a pretty nice looking little shape. So this is our main coffee mug shape, made out of two shapes, the handle shape and the cup shape. We combine them with the S merge, we run it through the render, and then we can merge that on top of blue. Now let's fill it with coffee. We can do this a bunch of different ways, but I want to show you some fancy things that we can do with shapes. So let's first of all, let's make the coffee shape, the actual like fill color for the coffee. I'm going to do that with just making a new rectangle, S rectangle. I'll hit 2 on the keyboard to bring this up. Actually, let's hit 1 on the keyboard and bring this up. Let's keep it classy over here so we can see parts of it. Might as well use our 2 viewers, right? So this viewer on the left, let's go to style and we can change the color of our new rectangle here. And I want dark orange, AKA brown. Okay, let's do kind of a dark brown like that. Ooh, nice coffee brown, so good. And we could roughly size this to the inside of our cup. This is one way we could do it. We can take up the corner radius like that. And let's just attach this to the merge like that. And that's going to add coffee inside of our cup. So nothing wrong with doing that, but it's kind of weird that it's rounded at the top. So if this is full of coffee, it's not going to round at the top because that's not how physics works. Okay. Except for maybe little tiny bit because of surface tension. Look up your physics. So instead of that, wouldn't it be great if we could just kind of fill up the inside of this with a flat line? Something that kind of looks like this at the top, but is still rounded at the bottom. So we're going to do something tricksy. We're going to use this rectangle as the fill, but we're going to mask it with this cup shape. So we have our original cup shape right here, but look, there's no mask input. Here in the merge, there's no mask input. So what the heck do we do? Can we attach a mask? There's no way to mask anything with the shape system. So what we do instead is we can use a node called sBoolean. Let's go ahead and double click off and type sBool. And this is sort of like a merge node or a mat control node in the 2D nodes. What it does is it combines 2 shapes together, and you can do that in various different ways. Okay, so if we have our S rectangle here, and we have another shape. Let's just do like an S ellipse, just so we can see what this does. This will put these together, but if I take this ellipse down here, we can see that it's masking this rectangle with the ellipse. So it's only drawing that rectangle inside of this circle, which is a lot like a mask, right? So what we can do is use this sBoolean as kind of a, take this ellipse, just do like an S ellipse, just so we can see what this does.
It's a C prolific.
This will put these together, but if I take this ellipse down,
It's a C prolific.
down here, we can see that it's masking this rectangle with the ellipse. So it's only drawing that rectangle inside of this circle, which is a lot like a mask, right? So what we can do is use this S-Boolean as kind of a mask down the line. And let's actually connect our cup shape to this. So let's connect our cup shape. Remember, you can use one node in multiple places. That's one of the cool, powerful things about nodes. So let's take this cup shape.
सही सी बताइए तुझे मेरा दुबई घूम के मजा आया ना तू ये बता तुझे मेरा दुबई घूम के ज्यादा मजा आया कि नहीं आया मैं कह रहा हूँ जनता से पूछते हैं कौन सा दुबई में
And connect that to the S-Boolean for our rectangle. And And now as we move our rectangle around, we can see it's limited to the edges of that cup shape.
It's a C prolific.
All right. So if we make this wider, look at what we're doing here. We can fill up our cup. Oh man. That's what I'm talking about. We get so much coffee this way. So we can fill up our cup. All right. So if we make this wider, look at what we're doing here. We can fill up our cup. Oh man. That's what I'm talking about. We get so much coffee this way. So we have a way to fill this cup up like this. let's actually kind of break this out a little bit, because you can put multiple things into a merge, but after a while it gets kind of hard to figure out what things are in front of each other. And for me, it's a little bit easier just to break out in a couple different merges. So let's rearrange these just a little bit. Let's take our cup shape. So this is our first shape. We're merging it with our handle like this. And let's kind of bring this guy up here. This is our fill. And let's just make another S merge. Smurge, plug that in, and we're going to merge that over like this. So now, just like we would with regular images, we're starting kind of with our background and we're putting foreground over it. We're taking that and putting more over it here, like this. The only difference is we're taking this brown rectangle and we're cropping it to be inside of this cup shape. Now, why is it white? Because we told this to be brown and to be cut out by that cup shape, right? But this S Boolean, what it's doing, if we go to this brown rectangle and we're back like this. So now, just like we would with regular
It's a C prolific.
up here. This is our fill. And let's just make another S merge. Smurge. Plug that in. And we're going to merge that over like this. So now, just like
It's a C prolific.
we would with regular images, we're starting kind of with our background and we're putting foreground over it. We're taking that and putting more over it here, like this. The only difference is we're taking this brown rectangle and we're cropping it to be inside of this cup shape. Now, why is it white? Because we told this to be brown and to be cut out by that cup shape, right? But this S Boolean, what it's doing, if we go to style mode, it's set as replace, which basically means that it's going to do by that cup shape, right? But this S Boolean, what it's doing, if we go to style mode, it's set as replace, which basically means that it's going to colorize this. So if we go to style, it's colorizing it white. So we could do two things. We could change this color to brown, or we can go back to controls, and here where it says style mode replace, let's just style mode keep. There we go. So it's going to keep. Keep the style of whatever we're cutting out. It's just going to cut it out only. Okay. So now we have our coffee, and let's put that over our cup, and look at this. Things are getting pretty serious. We're cutting out. It's just going to cut it out only. Okay. So now we have our coffee, and let's put that over our cup, and look at this. Things are getting pretty serious. Things are getting kind of serious here. If we want to, we could take this rectangle and we can move this up and down, and it fills up the cup. But we all know that coffee doesn't go.
It's a C prolific.
Go all the way to the edges of the cup. If it did, things would be a lot easier because we would have like 0.78 more percent coffee, and that's accurate. So what we want to do is actually contract this mask in so that we have a little bit of an outline here. And so it's kind of like a cross section of the cup, and we have some actual thickness on the cup all the way around. So again, there's a lot of ways to do that. One thing we can do is just make a S transform node. By typing S XF.
C prolific.
And this works just like a regular transform node, except for it's in the shape world. It's in pretend world, right? So let's hold shift and drag this down here before this S Boolean. And look at this. Now it's going to run this cup shape over here through a transform world, right? So let's hold shift and drag this down here before this S Boolean. And look at this. Now it's going to run this cup shape over here through a transform before it cuts it out. And so if we were to, I don't know, take something like the X size down, look what happens. Oh! This is exactly what.
It's a C prolific.
What we wanted, right? So we can adjust this X size and the Y size and the offset and everything and kind of move this to be exactly where we want. But don't miss how cool this is, because this cup shape, everything is based on this cup shape. And so if we were to take this corner radius down, it would also take the corner radius down here of the mask. If we were to take it up, see if we could make a really impossible to set down cup. And that would be pretty terrible. But we can adjust this, and because it's modular, that means that because it kind of goes through these live effects and draws this through this little flowchart, we can adjust anything at any point and it will kind of flow down however we design it. So cool. So nerdy. Okay, so now we have the coffee here in the middle, and we can take this rectangle and move it up or down and fill up the coffee cup. And if we were to fill this up a lot, we have that same problem here. But luckily, we're probably not going to. We're going to stop right about there anyway, so it's not even an issue, not even a problem. So there we go. There's our coffee. And from here, if we're just doing that, if all we're doing is filling this with coffee, we're pretty much done. We can animate this, and I can just animate the X or Y offset of this rectangle. So at 0, we could start down here, and I'll just hit the keyframe on this Y offset. That tells it at frame 0, I want that rectangle to be right here. 30 frames in, let's have
It's a C prolific.
this fill up like that. And guess what? Floop fills up, right? Cool. So if we just want a coffee filling animation, baby, we are home free. But we're going to do some coffee and then some cream. But if the cream is going to be white, then it's weird to have a white coffee cup. So let's make this coffee cup color a little different. Now, this is cool. I could go into this handle shape and change the style, and then go into the cup shape and change the style and try and match those colors. Or I can run these through a shape effect called S Change Style. what that does is it just recolors stuff. And so I can run everything through the cup and the handle merged together, run that through schange style, and let's grab like kind of a light blue, and that will change the style of everything that runs through it. It's a lot like what we saw here in the SBoolean, where it replaces that style with whatever we have in the Boolean, but it's kind of just its own thing. Let's take a second and get a little bit more organized here. Let's move this over. This is going to be our cup, and I'm just going to make an underlay.
Only getting isolated results? Big gains come from AI that works across all your data and applications. The AI built for business, IBM.
We don't like cricket, we love it. Our hosting our website helps us to grow our team and to share the passion with the world. We are cricketers, not developers.
I'm just hitting Shift Spacebar and typing UND here. Let's move this over. This is going to be our cup, and I'm just going to make an underlay. I'm just hitting